All right, welcome back to another video. Yeah, I look a lot better. I participated in an advertising campaign for a Gillette razor and a barber shop. I thought they were gonna shave my head. Like I was kind of looking forward to that because I thought they were gonna use the razor on me because it was a particular razor, but the barber shop was specifically for beards, I think. So this is all they needed for the advertising campaign. But I'm really happy with it. I actually didn't pay anything for it, so because I signed off to have the photos of myself used in the advertising campaign. But yeah, I think at some point I'll take care of this myself. I don't think it'll be that hard, and I'll be looking really good. Because I'm not sure where to cut it off here, but I mean, even this is I think pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So I think I'll be better able to concentrate on this test now too, which is of my utmost concern. All right, so where we left off last time was, so I finished configuration and troubleshooting. So we were working on BGP path selection, and we actually violated the one topic per day rule and spent some extra time on load balancing just because I couldn't get it to work over a route confederation. So I just wanted to strip it down and do it the easiest, most straightforward way possible. I ended up doing that. Really wasn't hard to do that. The only thing is, so I got to the BGP routes. I got 2 of them, and then the result of me adding the path is in one of the routes, the best route. I now have 2 next hops, but I opened up 2 Wireshark captures, one on each link, to look at each next hop. And unfortunately, I was expecting to see pings go across each wire load balanced, but I did not see that behavior at all. Went on one wire. So it did not appear to be load balanced, unfortunately. But I figured it wasn't worth devoting more time to, because that one topic a day rule, even though it's not a hard set essential, it's just, and I'm turning my head this way because I want to see like what this side looks like, because this side looks really good. It looks like it's the full beard is like coming in right here. So I'm wondering if I shave my head, if I just exit there, do I keep this? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. But for the most part, I'm going to be focusing on this exam. So we've got not done. Yep, the BGP attributes. So we're going to be starting a new topic today. It's going to be BGP attributes, and my intention will be to finish that whole topic today, and maybe even do a second one to make up for yesterday. So just regexes, that should be pretty easy to get through. I already have quite a bit of experience with regexes, so. But in the context of Junipers, I could certainly use more practice. So let's try to get through 2 topics today. Today, in this video, we'll get through this BGP attributes topic, and then I'll do another video later today, and we'll get through the routing policy regex topic. And I do need to hold myself accountable for yesterday. Unfortunately, I only made 1 video. I think it's important that I do continue to do the after work video. I do realize, yes, it's Friday. I was tired, but I can do better. One of the big mistakes I did is I ordered a bit too much for carry out, and I decided not to either eat what to either put the rest away or something, and I ended up eating too much, and kind of became lethargic because of that. So I'm at such a high level of study. You know, this is the expert level. This is the highest level they offer, that I really need to start treating myself the same way somebody who wanted to be an athlete or something would treat themselves. I not only need to study every day, I need to worry about what I eat, all that sort of thing, because if it zaps my ability to make videos, to study, to focus, it's just going to limit what is possible for me, even if I have the best of intentions and the best, and even if I even act on those intentions, if I'm unable to fully digest the material, it's just going to limit my potential. Yeah, there was a recent video, the NBA, National Basketball Association in the United States, is continuing to, they're gonna start playing even with the pandemic being what it is in the United States, but they're gonna do it in a lockdown, quarantine way, and the players have been complaining about the food they've been getting, because it's been, for the most part, sugary junk food. So it's not just a, it's something that athletes are really, really fine-tuned to, is that what you eat can really determine your performance. But I would say it goes beyond just athletic performance. It's also mental performance, which is what I'm essentially doing right now. I'm being a mental athlete by flying halfway across the United States during a pandemic with a mask on, and sitting down for 6 hours with a mask on, with, I'm sure, people coughing next to me, taking the hardest possible exam. And from what I've heard too, the service provider is harder than all of the other ones too. So I'm taking the hardest possible level of the hardest possible exam for Juniper Networks during a pandemic. Okay, so yeah, so diet, nutrition, that sort of thing is going to be pretty essential. I'm probably going to want to take it a lot more seriously than I have been. And to be honest, I actually have been taking it a little bit seriously, just not seriously enough. All right, so BGP attributes. Let's start this video off the same way we're going to start off any video. We'll do a help apropos for attributes. Oh, my beard looks a lot better. I'm really happy with it. It's professional cut. I don't know if I would, because I'm guessing it. If it weren't free, it would not be cheap. So I don't know if I would just incorporate that into my lifestyle. Especially since, like, it was looking so bad, like it's just gonna look better no matter what. But like, even like trimmed up my eyebrows and stuff. Yeah. All right, let's see here. So, okay, so we're gonna start off this video the same way as any other video. And most importantly, we're gonna stay focused. Okay, so here we've got matches. Now this is interesting because I did a help apropos attribute. So I wonder if help apropos matches the inside of the files as well as the outside of the files. Yeah, so maybe that's how help apropos works. So I might not need the treasure trove script. I might just be able to do like this. Nope. Oh, I might need an S. See, this is weird. I thought help apropos, you were searching the title of the, you were searching the command. So you can see they all have example. But you can see for when I did it for attribute, some of them don't have the word attribute in them. I thought that they would all have the word attribute in them. Some of them do not. Okay, so let's search for path. Okay, so now, okay, so I think these are going to be some interesting topics to look over. I would like to get the treasure trove to dig up the treasure. There's a lot of fun names I could call that. I could call it treasure dig. I could call it, I kind of like treasure trove the best. Let me know in the comments what is the best title you want me to change the helper script to be. I like something having to do with digging up buried pirate treasure. Okay, so path selection. This is going to be no longer path selection. It's going to be Bgp attributes. No, it is still path selection, but it's going to be Bgp attributes instead of load balancing. Perfect. Okay, and that's some of the help doc that I think will be good. Let's take a look at the tags. Okay, so these are all going to be good tags. I'm just now going to go and look at the Python helper script, change the name of it, and then change it so that it no longer takes user output. Okay, so, and I'll push these to my GitHub. So I will edit them in my repo. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is rename it. Trove.py. Okay, and then I'll edit it. Okay, and then we'll get rid of, certainly don't need this line. Yeah, I think we can just do a poll and overwrite those, or we can get rid of those changes somehow. I mean, I can just undo them. But we tried using threading, and it just turned out that it wasn't necessary. Okay, we also won't need the sys module since we're just going to be doing a treasure trove. Okay, but we will need to run this help apropos command to pull back everything. Oops, and I think I will need, I forget how the script was before, so let's go to my GitHub and let's figure that out. Okay, so yeah, let's revert that back to what it is on the GitHub. Perfect. Okay, and then from here, I won't need a search string anymore. So it's just going to be example like that. Oops, and it's all going to be lowercase. So yep. So because of that, I won't need the sys module anymore. I won't need the search string anymore. Okay, so now my code is only 14 lines. And the other thing is I won't even need this no further doc found anymore because it will give me back my command prompt, so I don't even need that. So we're now down to 13 lines of code I'll need to memorize for the exam. It's a lot easier. Okay, so let's see if this works and we can get the buried treasure. Yeah, I'm just thinking like I definitely need to take off all this extra hair or tie it in a man bun. Oh man, that'd be dangerous though. I don't know if that would work. Okay, scripts, CDOP. Okay, so remove helper. So VI treasure trove.py. Oh, I wonder if I can even paste the whole thing in one. That would be really, really good. Nope. Okay, so it works now. So let's do OP treasure trove. Oops, but we've got to enable OP scripting. Okay, so treasure trove.py will give us back all the wonderful treasure that will have full examples for anything we can think of on the Juniper device. So we're going to need back examples for BGP. Let me do a CLI set, or sorry, set CLI screen length 0. Yeah, and then run this again. All right, so I don't have to keep hitting the space bar. So, yep, now we've got all the buried treasure, and we'll be able to use this for reference. Now, when it comes to the exam, all I need to do is memorize these 12 lines of code, and I will have this on the exam. It'll be a little different because it's a different version, but for the most part, it'll be exactly the same. Another thing that I have said many times in the past, this is not cheating because the topic of OP scripting is on the exam. So this is just demonstrating my knowledge of having mastered the exam curriculum material by implementing it during the exam. That is what this is. It is not cheating. So while this is running, I think I'll try to type out these 12 lines and see if I can get it right. So one of the ways I like to memorize is just by repetition. So first thing I like to do when I'm memorizing something is just type it out exactly as I see it. And then once I get sick of doing that, what I will do is start as I normally would, but then delete that and then do it without seeing it, paste it back in, and see if I got it right or not. But for now, let's just type it out as I see it, so I can just get used to how it feels under my fingers and relatively how long it takes me to type out. And typing it directly into the device is probably not something I will do. So I might need to change this value if it's completely different on version 19, but I don't think it will be. And that's not too hard to change. The other thing I might need to be aware of is that I can't import subprocess or some disaster like that, or I can't use shell equals true. I'm kind of dead in the water if that happens. I mean, this script isn't the most important thing in the world. It's just going to help me pass the test. It's just, it's like a, well, how can I view it? It's like, it's not necessary for me to actually pass the test, but it is just going to help. It's like if you were to run a mile, like it's like having running shoes, special water bottle, run belt, running shorts, you know, all the nice gear. I get that if I can use this. If not, I can still run the mile. It's not going to be as pretty, but hopefully I can still do it and meet the criteria. Okay, so yep, it was 12 lines, so I think I did everything right. I'm not sure. One thing I can do to check is copy that or cut it and then paste over it. Oh, so I did get something wrong. So I did from instead of for. Okay, so let's try it again and make sure I get everything right. And in my answer key here, I will change it like this and like that. Okay, and now this is the file treasure trove, I believe. Yep, so I will save this file and I will push it. Okay, so we're going to do a Git Status. So I no longer have help helper because I renamed it to treasure trove. So I will add that. Okay, so yep, it's been renamed. So now let's do git commit -m. And then we'll say remove script user interactivity. Remove script user, remove need for script user input. The plan is to type this all out from memory first thing as soon as I can open Notepad++ in the testing room and then run it on a router while I read over the test for the first time and draw out any network diagrams that will help me avoid mistakes and confusion. Also, in this time, while the treasure trove is printing, I can flag down the proctor for anything I need. Okay, so that's pushed up there. Now, if we take a look at my, yep, so now it's renamed to treasure trove. There's a, yep, I contributed to it, and it's down to 16 lines, which is interesting because it, oh, I see. So it's, wait, what? Why is it still named treasure trove? Or help helper? Why is it not named treasure trove? What? Oh, I see. I did the commit, but I didn't do the push. Okay, so I've got my key uploaded. So now after the push, I can refresh this. Yep, and now it's named treasure trove. So, and I removed the need for script user input. The plan is to type all this out from memory first thing as soon as I can open Notepad++ in the testing room, and then run it on a router while I read over the test for the first time and draw out any network diagrams that will help me avoid mistakes and confusion. Also, in this time, while the treasure trove is printing, I can flag down the proctor for anything I need. So it's only 12 lines to memorize. I'm really happy with that. And I just need the subprocess library. If it's not in there, well, I might need to move on. Run the marathon without the fancy gear. Then I just need to use check input. That's another thing that might not be on there. But I'm pretty sure those will all be there. It's just part of the standard Python library. Then I need to memorize this list comprehension, but that's pretty easy to memorize. Yep, and it's going to be help topic. So I will need to check the help on version 19 to make sure that it still has help topic. It's not called something completely different. But I can't imagine they would make that sort of major sweeping change just from version to version. But they fundamentally have a different kind of OS. Okay, but I'm going to pause the recording and be back in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. So I kind of made a little bit of a mistake because I ran the treasure trove without timing it. Knowing how long it takes is going to be really important. And at this point, it has run for so long, I kind of don't want to stop it and restart it. Now, I'm not necessarily going to just wait for it to finish, but that's something I think I will need to know before I implement it on the test, is how long will it take. Yep, and I'm starting to get lightheaded. Why is that happening? Well, I had a huge takeout meal yesterday. It was too much for me to eat. My weight spiked up super high, so I'm feeling kind of. Okay, that feels better. I think I just because I walked like an hour today too, so I'm gonna sit down. All right, but I'm feeling good. I just kind of was, I think, stressing myself a bit too much by standing up, so I'm just gonna sit down. And I'm going to, run those commands that we've got harvested. I will be running those, and then we will see if we can find a good example and do an exercise and then close out this topic. Again, this topic is one that I don't think warrants a lot of time. And I would like to finish 2 topics today so that I can adhere to my 1 topic a day rule. Maybe not a topic on that day, but eventually a topic. Okay. Oh, okay, sweet. And it stopped. So let's go ahead and harvest all this. So this is exactly what I'll be doing in the test. The only difference is I'll have secure CRT, so I can clear the scroll back and buffer before I run it, and then do a Control A and copy it. So okay, so there it is. The treasure trove has been fruitful. And I'll close this tab. I don't need to have that run anymore. Okay, so let's see what we've got for BGP. Well, let's see what we've got for path. Yep, and I'll have Notepad++ as well on the test. Aha, so we've got path selection. That's the whole name of this. Let me go back and we can see we've got path selection is the name of this topic. And inside of it, we got 2 subtopics. Okay, so let's read what it says about path selection in the built-in help. Understanding BGP path selection. For each prefix in the routing table, the routing protocol process selects the single best path. After the best path is selected, the route is installed in the routing table. The best path becomes the active route if the same prefix is not learned by a protocol with a lower, more preferred global preference value, also known as the administrative distance. The algorithm for determining the active route is as follows. Number 1, verify that the next hop can be resolved. Number 2, choose the path with the lowest preference value, routing protocol process preference. Routes that are not eligible to be used for forwarding, for example, because they were rejected by routing policy or because a next hop is inaccessible, have a preference of -1 and are never chosen. Number 3, wow, oh my God, there's 15. Okay, well, we're on number 3. Prefer the path with higher local preference. For non-BGP paths, choose the path with the lowest preference to value. 4, if the accumulated interior gateway protocol, AIGP attribute, is enabled, prefer the path with the lower AIGP attribute. Number 5, prefer the path with the shortest autonomous system, AS, path value skipped if the AS path ignore statement is configured. A configuration segment, sequence, or set has a path length of 0. An AS set has a path length of 1. Number 6, prefer the route with the lower origin code. Routes learned from an IGP have a lower origin code than those learned from an exterior gateway protocol, EGP, and both have lower origin codes than incomplete routes, routes whose origin is unknown. Number 7, prefer the path with the lowest multiple exit discriminator, MED metric, depending on whether non-deterministic routing table path selection behavior is configured. There are 2 possible cases. If non-deterministic routing table path selection behavior is not configured, that is, if the path selection Cisco non-deterministic statement is not included in the BGP configuration, for paths with the same neighboring AS numbers at the front of the AS path, prefer the path with the lowest MED metric. To always compare MEDs, whether or not the peer ASs of the compared routes are the same, include the path selection always compare MED statement. If non-deterministic routing table path selection behavior is configured, that is, the path selection Cisco non-deterministic statement is included in the BGP configuration, prefer the path with the lowest MED metric. Confederations are not considered when determining neighboring ASs. A missing MED metric is treated as if a MED were present but 0. Note, MED comparison works for single path selection within an AS when the route does not include an AS path, though this usage is uncommon with a capital I in is. By default, only the MEDs of routes that have the same peer autonomous systems, ASs, are compared. You can configure routing table path selection options to obtain different behaviors. Prefer strictly internal paths is number 8 in the BGP route selection criteria, or path selection criteria. It's the 8th step in the algorithm that determines the active route. And it prefers strictly internal paths, which include IGP routes and locally generated routes, static, direct, local, and so forth. Number 9, prefer strictly external BGP, eBGP paths over external paths learned through internal BGP, iBGP sessions. Number 10, prefer the path whose next hop is resolved through the IGP route with the lowest metric. Note, a path is considered a BGP cost equal path and will be used for forwarding if a tie break is performed after the previous step. All paths with the same neighboring AS learned by a multi-hop enabled BGP neighbor are considered. BGP multipath does not apply to paths that share the same MED plus IGP cost, yet differ in IGP cost. Multipath path selection is based on the IGP cost metric, even if 2 paths have the same MED plus IGP cost. Oh, okay, so if let's say the MED is 2 and the IGP is 1 on one of them, and on the other one, the MED is 1 and the IGP is 2, therefore both of them have a cost of 3, it is based on the IGP cost. So the one with a IGP cost of 1 will be favored over the one with the IGP cost of 2, even though they have the same NED plus IGP cost metric. Number 11 in the path selection algorithm used for BGP. If both paths are external, prefer the currently active path to minimize route flapping. The rule is not used if any one of the following conditions is true. Path selection, external router ID is configured. Both peers have the same router ID. Either peer is a confederation peer. Neither path is the current active path. Prefer a primary route over a secondary route. A primary route, okay, so if both paths are external is number 11, step 11 in the algorithm. Prefer the currently active path to minimize route flapping. This rule is not used if any one of the following conditions is true. Path selection, external router ID is configured. Both peers have the same router ID. Either peer is a confederation peer. Neither path is the current path. So when I had mine in a confederation, that would have changed the path selection criteria. That might have been a reason why I was not able to get multipath working on there. So the 11th step in the path selection criteria for BGP is to prefer a primary route over a secondary route. A primary route is one that belongs to the routing table. A secondary route is one that is added to the routing table through an export policy. So just about all BGP routes are secondary routes. 13, prefer the path from the peer with the lowest router ID. For any path with an originator ID attribute, substitute the originator ID for the router ID during router ID comparison. Number 14, prefer the path with the shortest cluster list length. The length is 0 for no length. Number 14, prefer the path with the, I already read number 14. Number 15 is prefer the path from the peer with the lowest peer IP address. Okay, so one of the things I was actually pretty worried about with this test was having to memorize stuff like this, because I had read through it before, and it's just like, I do not know how to understand this. Now, I know there is a acronym, we love oranges because oranges mean pure refreshments, that is taught in Cisco CCIE courses, but I don't think that's for the BGP path selection algorithm. Well, I guess actually it might be because it's lowest preference origin, and then of course it's all different between Cisco and Juniper pretty much. But I kind of can see in some sense this, it'd be really nice to be able to find these. So it might be better to, and the other thing, so the other thing is it looks like this example. So in my script treasure trove, you can see I have example : but I can't really do that because it can show up as examples or example. So I either need to get rid of the colon or I need to, but of course, anything with a related topic with an example, but that's not an example itself, would be a problem as well. because it would just print out all of the, like this one, for example, was a match based on here, but it was exactly what I needed to know. So I'm glad I found it, but I did not find it because it had the word example in this part, which is kind of what I wrote the treasure trove with the intention of having it do. Okay, I'm kind of tempted to do this whole thing because I bet you this will be about path selection. I mean, if we're doing multiple paths, it's certainly going to be about path selection. So, yep, I think I'm gonna do that. So let's update my notes. So I don't think we'll need any of these, but we are going to need this. And then we're going to need this. Okay, so we're good to go. All right, so let's prepare for this. Now, this is one thing I'm a little bit concerned about for my treasure trove here, because if it's matching the wrong thing, because it's going to go a lot faster if I were to just do this. Help apropos star. Oops. Help apropos. So if I were to do a yeah, set CLI screen length 0, and then I were to do a help apropos dot help topic. Oops, dot match, or yeah. Now basically I've got a very similar thing going on here than I have here. The difference, of course, is it won't have this in the contents of the file, but I might not necessarily need that there. So let's take a look at the difference between what shows up here and what shows up if I use the script. Because the point of the script is to just filter down what comes up here, but there's really no reason to do that. Yeah, now that I think of it, this is going to be really my key, because this is a lot faster. There we go. And with secure CRT, that will be that'll be a lot faster. Okay, so here's the results of my treasure trove script. We've got, I can't see that because of my TV stand. So we've got 312 results. Oh, okay, so we've got 4,398. Okay, but let's see what we get for path selection. You see, I think it might be better this way because using the treasure trove, because we're just going to have a lot of like false documentation this way that is just like empty and useless. Whereas if we have the other one, we know that we've got example. But you can see we've got stuff that's like understanding as well. Yeah. But I think I am, even though it takes longer, using the script to get about 800 pieces of documentation, all of them probably pretty useful because they have that example match to them. Yeah. Yeah, here's an example for how to configure NTP. I had a lot of trouble with that before. Oh, I need to take a break. All right, so I'm going to get my lab ready to go here. So we're going to be doing the lab. Yeah, so we're going to be doing this multiple paths lab. Oops, let me expand this out. Perfect. Okay. There we go. All right, so we are good to go. Perfect. Okay, so this is the lab I'm going to be doing. We're going to have 8 routers. So I am going to do 8 more. Unfortunately, I won't be able to look at this on the test. I mean, I can try to open it up, but I mean, it's not necessary anyways. It's not going to be the end of the world that I can't look this up on the test. Yeah, so let's set up 2 more routers in the topology because it's going to require 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're actually going to need 3 more, so let's set those up. One, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, oops, don't need that one. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we'll name them router 1 through router 8. Okay, I'll just delete all the links. Okay, so let's go through and rename all of these. Okay, so we've got 8. So let's rename them. And if they, of course, the correct names already exist, we'll just swap them out. Or 2, yep, we've already got a correct name. All right, or 3, yep, correct name exists. All right, but we don't have a router 4 yet, so let's make that. Just make it right here. Okay, and a router 5. All right, and a router 6. Router 7 and router 8. Before I do that, I'm gonna cable the control plane to the forwarding plane. Oops. All right, so now I'll arrange the icons. Okay, so we're good to go. I'm gonna stack them so they make a bit more sense. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Perfect. Okay, so now the next step I will do is go and clear off all of the config. So it'd be nice if I could just open them all up. Ah, and it worked perfectly. Usually it doesn't work so well when I do that. All right, let's try it. Yeah, I just walked like an hour. Oh man. Yeah, I'm like barely hanging on right now. But I can finish. I can finish off wiping, and I think that's going to be the end of. Well, we'll see. I might just pause it and take a break. I do want to do something from like 1 to 2, but we will see. All right. So we've got 3 routers that are gonna boot up eventually. Really can't do anything about that right now. So I'm gonna take my break, pause the video right now, and then be back. And I could go until 2, 1:30 at the very earliest. That'll be no problem. And then 4, I'll finish this topic. I'll try to do another topic by the end of today. Yeah, it should be doable. Yeah, so stay tuned. I'm just gonna pause it. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. So as promised, I'm going to finish the last 3 routers and then close the video up. There we go. Finally got it to work. I've got an extra E in the host name, so I'll need to fix that up. All right, but we're good to move on to router 5. All right, and router 6. Yeah, I can't wait to see take a razor to this or whatever. All right, router 6. Cannot commit an empty configuration. So why is it still tripping at me? Oh, okay. So I wonder if router 5 had a problem with that as well. But let's configure router 6. Oh man, router 6 is not enjoying this. Okay, so I finally got everything to work. Let's do a set system hostname R6, commit and quit. Okay, and let's go back over these to make sure that the configuration is right. R5 and R6. So yeah, everything looks good to go. R7, R8, all of those were already. Oh, it looks like R8 wasn't taken care of yet. Let's do that. Oh man. Oh. All right, so I will go and double check them all. Okay, so everything is all set. I'm gonna end the video here, even though it's kind of an empty video. And then the next video will be around 4:30, something like that. Well, I might want to swim, so it'll probably be after my swim actually. So I think I'll swim at 4. I might be swimming until 5, maybe even 6. Yeah, so expect a video at that time. And then I'll have another late night video, hopefully be able to finish up the topic. So I just want to do this whole lab, then do another topic, and then see you tomorrow. The good news is, because I ate so much yesterday, I won't need to spend a lot of time eating. So okay, so that's the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one.